Okay, several months ago, I've done a quick overview of the XC40 Recharge, but it wasn't a full spec review, and I decided to come back here to McGrath Volvo Cars of Fort Myers, where they have it, and we're going to take a look today at this 2022 XC40 Recharge. So we're going to do a detailed review of the exterior, interior, jump inside of it, play with some cool and interesting features. At the end of this video, I'm going to take you on the road with it. So if you're ready, let's go. Well, Volvo XC40 is not new to Volvo lineup, but this is the first step into the commitment of Volvo to have all-electric fleet by 2030. And that's not too long from now. It's only 8 short years from now. Now, it's based on the very popular compact sport utility that has been one of the best-selling Volvos all over the world. Now, it looks the same from the exterior with a few differences, and we're going to start right here. We're going to take a look at the hood of it. It's got these two distinct body lines, and then it's kind of indented on the side for this very specific look to it. Now, it also has what they call a Thor hammer light signature that you see on many of the Volvos, full LED light setup. They're stacked up, 2 on top, 2 at the bottom. You have the Volvo that's inside of it, written inside of it. You also have the fog lights. Now, because it is an electric vehicle, it doesn't have to have the open grille. There is no engine there to cool, so this is all closed up with a little pass-through right here as well as at the bottom. We have this huge Volvo emblem right here with the front view camera, and behind that, that's where all the technology hides for all of the sensing and the safety feature of the Volvo. Now, I'm not sure, I don't remember if it has a frunk, so let's pop this open, let's check it out. Check this out. If from the distance it looks just like the regular XC40, the hood opens nice and tall. It's got the hydraulic struts on both sides. The one difference is you don't have this sound insulation. That's because the electric motors don't make any sound. And for those of you that are interested in here, it does have a compartment right here, and we call that frunk. That stands for front trunk. Perfect space to hide some stuff if you want to be out of people's eyes, and people won't expect to have that in the front of the vehicle. Well, since there is no motors to talk about that are visible, we're going to stick around here and talk about what it has. So it does have this 78 kilowatt hour ion lithium high power battery or motors. It's got 2 motors, one in the front, one in the back. Total output is 402 horsepower, 486 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a single-speed drive-by-wire transmission, and 0 to 60 is about 4.7 seconds. The range on this vehicle estimated of 223 miles. Exterior of this XC40 Recharge is basically identical to a non-electric version of it, which is a good thing. And the only difference is that it does say Recharge right on this little trim piece right here, and on this black on black color, it's very hardly noticeable. As far as the wheels, it comes standard with 19. These were upgraded to a 20-inch wheels, kind of like the two-tone design. It's this polished aluminum with black color on it. And as far as the size of the tires, what do we have here? 235 by 45 20-inch rims on here. all black. You know, you can hardly see that cladding on the side of it. It blends in with this color, but there's also 7 other colors that are available with the Volvo. Of course, it is equipped with the smart entry system, so you can lock this vehicle. Now, the key is inside, so I won't be able to demonstrate it for you. But when you touch this vehicle on the outside, it's going to lock it. If you put your hand inside of it, it's going to unlock it. There does have the mirror fully loaded with the blind spot, with a turn signal indicator right there as well. And there's also a camera that's hiding right underneath here. It's all blacked out, so there's no chrome. It looks actually very sharp. It's very clean look. And also even the roof rails are the polished black color on this, which looks very, very nice. Well, let's check how much room it has inside of it. So this is, if you're taller, you might have a little bit of an issue with fitting inside of this vehicle without asking the driver to sacrifice some of their comfort. Now, if you're in 6 feet tall like myself, you know, I have this front seat adjusted to my regular driving position, and I do like to drive comfortably, not on the steering wheel. So I'm almost touching my knees to the front seat. Now, they're kind of indented in here and nicely profiled so I don't touch it, but it's almost there. As far as the headroom, there's plenty of it. There's probably about 2 inches above my head, and there's enough shoulder room for 2 people to sit in comfortably. That you've seen some of the Volvos, and especially the electric ones, have this felt liner that's in here. This is all like that environmentally friendly material. There's no leather anywhere in this vehicle. Even the seats that look kind of like suede and leather, which we're going to look at it later, they're not. Okay, so it does have the speaker covers. Now, this is not the carbon cardon, this is the basic stereo, and then the only other thing that you have here is your lock button and your window control. You also have a little bit of storage right underneath here, as well as another speaker. All right, so what do we have here? If you look at this seat doesn't go all the way in. It actually has some hidden compartments, and I'm not sure why that is. That's probably because it would be really hard to get inside of it. Now, you can see you have to kind of step over, you know, the sill right here, and then you can your feet can go underneath this quite comfortably, to be honest with you. And you do have this hump, because even though it is a fully electric vehicle, it shares the platform with the non-electric vehicle, and that's where the tunnel is that hides either the exhaust or the four-wheel drive system, etc. So what else we have underneath here? We do have the heated seats, and we do have the vents, as well as we have the nets, cargo nets, in the backs of the seats. What is interesting is this material that is used, and it's a man-made material that kind of looks like a combination of suede and leather, and it's a very comfortable seating surface for 2 people. Now, the third person, if you have to, they can sit right here, but it's not the most comfortable place to be at. It is also, you can see that it does have a third seat belt, but like I said, I wouldn't want to sit here on the long trip. Cup holders right here, and then you can open this up, and then you can see there's a pass-through if you want to carry your skis or anything like this in here. And this is the back side of it. Now, what also I want to show you is this huge sunroof, because it's easier to show it from here than from the interior in the front. Let's get this sleek looking back, you know, with this huge gate spoiler, third LED light. Now, I would like to see that hidden underneath that gate spoiler to be not exposed to elements. Kind of sticks out a little bit, but at least the wiper is there. Volvo spelled out in the back like most of the manufacturers do right now. You have the XC40, and on here the difference is it says Recharge Twin. It's not the signature on it. It's not like the T8, I believe it was, but it is a Recharge Twin. Now, the bottom part of the bumper, you know, it's very plain. It's got this, it's the color of the same cladding as you can see around the car. You have the government mandated reflector lights, and that's it. Of course, no exhaust because there's no engine. Now, as far as the lights, I mean, this is one of my favorite things about Volvo. They have these such a cool lights. I mean, we've seen these on the XC90 since they came out. Now, they evolved a lot. Now, they're fully LEDs. This is a one-piece light that incorporates, of course, the tail lights, that incorporates the turn signals and the reverse lights in one piece. So let's pop this open. Let's see how much room we have inside of it. Now, we've seen that on this C40 that I did is incredibly thick charging cables. Now, this is for your household use, but that's definitely a heavy duty one. So you do have quite some room in the back of it. That's, you know, not too bad. Very similar with its class competitors, etc. So it's not bad. You also have a little bit of hiding space underneath here alongside with your tools to remove the tire. And you have the 12-volt outlet. And the seats fold down 60/40. You also have that pass-through in here, and you have this cargo cover that can be removed for the maximum cargo capacity. But it is nice to have it here to hide stuff from people that are too nosy. Let's walk up on here and let's see how it sounds when you close the door. Boom, nice and solid, so there's no surprise, the quality is there. Now if you look at the door, obviously you get the very similar theme as in the back, with the exception that you do have this pretty cool looking trim. You also have 2 memory seat settings, and you have your window mirror and lock controls. Now if you look inside of here at the bottom door sill, you can see that it's a recharge buttons, and as far as the pedals right there, you have this aluminum pedals with the rubber studs on it, so that kind of holds your feet better. Now as far as the seats, that same man-made material that is used, looks like leather and suede, looks very nice and stylish, actually holds on to you very comfortably as well. So let's jump inside and let's see what else is in here. Well guys, the XC40 interior looks very familiar. We've seen that before on the regular XC40 non-recharge. The one difference is, like on this one, everything is basically animal byproduct free. So even the steering wheel that looks like it is leather wrapped, it's not, it's a man-made material. Also what's different on here are the buttons. You might be familiar with the shiny buttons, shiny black plastic around here. That's gone. That is replaced by this matte gray, which I particularly like better because it doesn't show any of the fingerprints. Volvo logo in the middle of the steering wheel, of course, and then we have this 12.3-inch display. That's, you know, a few customization things, if you ask me, just not enough. All right, so you can put that, and on the left-hand side, you can see the speedometer. You can also see the speed limit right there, so don't exceed that. And on the right hand side, you can basically see where you are as far as the parking, reverse, neutral, and drive, so your drive transmission modes. All right, 83 degrees here in Florida today. We are in February, so great. And then you can see it is 70% charge, and it doesn't show the range here. It does show it, however, on the other screen. Nothing else really in here other than you can actually put in your trip mode, and then you can reset it, etc. So I mean, that might be a little bit of a waste of real estate. You have this whole 12.3 inches and it's not very utilized very much. On here you can see this 9-inch vertical screen, seen that before, and as you can see, if you're familiar with Google Maps, this is what it is, because this infotainment system is actually made by Google. So it's called the Google Automotive System, and for those of you who use Apple, I have a little bit of bad news. It is not compatible with Apple CarPlay. Well, Volvo claims that it might be in the future, but you know, knowing the two companies are not really compatible, I'm sure that Google is not going to rush into making it available for people. So let's take a look at this map, and the one important thing in here is the charging stations button, because that tells you of where the charging stations are, how many of them are there, and of course how long it's going to take you to get there. Now with the vehicles like this, you get the subscriptions included for a certain amount of time. I believe with Volvo it's 1 year of a subscription package that you get, and not with all of the stations, just several of the stations that are available. Now if you want to go back to the main screen with this infotainment system, you'll hit this button. So if you get lost, this is your hey go to button. It's going to take you back to the main screen. As you can see, you can connect your device in here, so that's for your phone. You have your maps, of course, and then you have your phone and how can I help you? That's basically your Google Assistant. Now we can also hit that camera view button, and then you can see that this is a reverse camera. You also hit that middle button right here that says 360, and you can see where the placement of each of the cameras are, and once you click that, it's going to go to that setting. Now what I would like to see, if you hit that button, that this camera view would take out the entire screen. Why not? right? Well, that's probably because you have the picture of this vehicle, and I believe if I start moving forward, you know, let's see if it's gonna start beeping. Well, maybe it's not on, but I'm pretty darn close to this curb. Okay, so it shows up on this screen, but it doesn't show up on the bottom. So I'm not sure of what the deal is and why is it not used. Now, on the other hand, you can see on this particular one, it shows that I'm close to something in the front. So I guess it might make sense. Anyways, so let's go back to this 360 view, and you also have the side view cameras. And again, you know, that just shows you on the one side, and then if you click that again, it's going to show you the camera on the other side. One other feature in here, we can go back to this main screen, and then you have more options. So Bluetooth media, phone, Google Assistant, Play Store, basically all the Google stuff. You can also have in the Play Store, you can get your favorite apps if you sign in or have an account created. Go back to the main screen. Now, one other thing that I want to show you here too is your climate control page. So that's your settings for the climate control. As you can see, that's actually a pretty self-explanatory. You have your dual zone climate control. You have a separate for the driver and passenger. What do we have here? We have the heated seats, and we have the heated steering wheel in here. You can control that both on the passenger driver side. The passenger side only has the heated seat, so it doesn't open up that pop-up in here. And then pretty self-explanatory as far as the rest of it. And then you have different settings for the vehicle: driving, charging, sound, connectivity controls, etc. So that's where you can start playing around, charging, charge limits. Well, drive mode is an off-road mode. I'm still not sure what that means. Charging, it's got 70%. Current limit amps, you can limit that. You can also charge it to 80%, 90%, 100%. So, you know, it depends on what you want. It also says right here that 90% is recommended to preserve the battery. So you don't want to overcharge it. You don't want to put it to 100% at all time. The battery's going to last you a little bit longer, which is a good thing, right? Moving down in here, you have some hard buttons, and those are basically shortcuts for, well, this is for your media, right? So this is your play, and this is your tune stations, etc. Now this one's got the regular stereo. It doesn't have the upgraded stereo. It actually sounds okay. I'm not a big audiophile, so it doesn't make a difference to me. As long as it plays semi-loud, it's okay. Now on this side right here, you have your hazard lights and the front windshield defogger and the rear window defroster. And moving down, just like on the other vehicle that we did, the C40, you have two USBs, and then you have the 12-volt cigarette lighter style adapter. Now you also have your phone, and if you don't want to put your phone on the charge, you can stick it right here, which is a pretty clever thing to do. Like most Volvos, this one is equipped with this shifter. Okay, so this is an electronic shifter. Of course, this is a one-speed transmission, but what you do is you pull it towards you if you want to put it in drive, and you push it away from you if you want to put it into reverse, and then the parking's gonna engage the parking mode in here. Two cup holders right here. You get your trash can in here, which is an awesome feature for some of the Volvos, and then you have a little bit more of a storage compartment right in there too. Okay, other than that, I mean, this is pretty much it on here. We're going to take a look at the top console in just a second, but I really like this trim. I like this trim better than on C40. I wonder if you can get that on the XC40, but there's not really many options that you can add to it, so I don't think so. So you do have the LED lights, and then you have the panoramic sunroof. Okay, this one actually opens up, and you know, you slide your finger on it, and basically that opens up the sunroof, and that's gonna open, slide it one more time, opens up it all the way, and then it also either tilts it, or there you go, it opens it up so you can get a little bit of a fresh air inside of here. And this is it. This is the interior of this 2022 XC40 Recharge, and let's take that on the road. Guys, I'm about to take this vehicle for a spin. I just got done test driving the C40, so I have a very good idea how the other one drives, and I'm going to kind of compare the two. Now, I've done that review. If you haven't seen it, it's on my channel. I posted it somewhere in the description of this video. This is that new Sport Coupe SUV that Volvo just came up with, and it is basically sitting on the same platform and this one. Well, you know, we're going to talk about the pricing while we drive, because there's only one price for the XC40 Recharge, and that basically starts at $55,800. So it's about $4,000 less than the C40 Recharge. But this one, on the other hand, has some options that can be added, so it's not as fully loaded as the XC40, so the prices is very similar. Now it still has the same powertrain, it still has about the same range, although this one seems like it's at 3 miles estimated shorter than the other one, but it's very negligible if you think about it, and it's got the same 4.70 to 60. Now as far as the turning radius, they sit on the same platform, so that should be identical. The other one was just over 4, and we're going to see what this one is. So we're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, exactly. I mean, I wouldn't think otherwise on this. Like this vehicle, you know, there's a few options added. There's the Plus package, of course. This is the Ultimate Plus, and then you have the Climate package, and you have the wheels, and that's about it. I'm going to post it in the description of this video. So overall, the feel of this vehicle, this one feels definitely roomier. Okay, it also, I think it has a better view around than the C40. Even though they're both 20-inch wheels, this one's got softer. Maybe it's just in my mind, I'm not sure. We're gonna check out the handling and acceleration, etc. in just a little bit. Of course, it's very quiet. You can't hear anything on the interior other than the hum of the air conditioner, the fan, and that's pretty much it. And it's very similar to the two of them. I just gotta point out something. You know, this is a vehicle that's about the same size as the Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4, and it does have 400 horsepower, which is crazy. I mean, most of those vehicles have sub 200 horsepower or around 200 horsepower on them. This is 400, so there's no joke. And as I mentioned, test driving the C40, I mean, that could cause a lot of trouble for people that are switching up from non-electric vehicle to an electric one. So if you are one of them, definitely be careful, because this vehicle is very capable, especially if you're used to just hitting that gas pedal to go faster. This one will, you know, basically take off like a rocket ship. There's an instant acceleration in the electric cars. For those of you who have driven one, there's nothing like this that can be experienced in the non-electric vehicle. Of course, both of them have their pluses and minuses. I'm excited about the electric vehicle and about the electrifying, but I'm also the kind of person that I think I would miss the engines, like the combustion engines, if they were completely eliminated. Like, I still love that good growl of the engine and the feel of it and the vibration that come with it, the whole experience with it. But I guess this is where we're going in the future. This is going to be the future of the automobile technology. It's all going to be electric sooner or later. As long as they can develop the grid and it's all going to be done, then, you know, we're done. All right, well, I'm going to hit that up and accelerate it, and let's see how fast it goes. See, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, there you go. We're at over 60 miles per hour instantaneously, quiet as hell. As a matter of fact, I mean, they're both 4.7 seconds. This one actually feels faster than the C40, and I just got done driving it on the same road. So definitely, you know, something to keep in mind. If you're looking for either one of them, test drive both and see which one you feel better in. Maybe that's because this one had 70+% of charge, the other one had 30. That might have something to do with that too. Also, we're gonna hit the brake a little bit here. Just really straight up. There's not too much of a nosedive or anything like this. It's very stiff. Well, it's not too stiff, but it's very composed. I like the way it drives. I like the way it feels. I just hope there's going to be a windy road somewhere, and we could test it out to see how the cornering is, because it is taller than the C40. It does sit lower though, as far as the ground clearance. So the center of gravity might be actually lower of this, even though it is a little bit taller. Well, guys, we're gonna be able to check that out, hopefully. Take this turn, not at the crazy speed, but not slowing down all the way. There you go. It is actually very nice. It holds on to the road nicely. Now we have some train tracks right there. Let's see how it goes. Okay, nice suspension. You feel a little bit of feedback on it. It's not too bouncy, it's not too loose. I like that. I mean, this is obviously in just a regular drive mode. I mean, this is too confusing sometimes to switch to drive modes in the Volvo. You have to go through this whole navigation system, infotainment system, which is not the friendliest one. But overall, I think this vehicle feels better than the C40. To me, it does, at least. You know, price-wise, you know, it's $5,000 cheaper, and you do have a few choices. And you know, it does have the same battery, it does have the same motors, so it does have the same performance. It shares the same chassis, basically. So definitely check it out. I'll give this vehicle a big thumbs up. And guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around with me for that long in this video. And if you made it that far, you know, hit that subscribe button, give me thumbs up, keep me pumped up, and until then, I will see you in my next video. Cheers.